Coming Honorable Speaker. With that, I beg to support.
Thank you. The next chance will go to the member for Busia, Honorable Catherine Omanyo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I listened very carefully to the President's speech that day, and so many things were a little bit amiss because when he mentioned Gorogoro going down to 60, I come from Busia, and that is our staple meal. I got so excited. But when I went back home this weekend, the reverse is what I found. Gorogoro has not gone down. Instead, it has been hyped. And because of this crisis, taxation, all the drama, you watch at people who would have made maybe Kenyans' life better, the tourists at the airport being tortured. Our country is going down the brink. It is a high time the President listened to people who care about this nation, people who will tell him the truth, people who will call a spade a spade. Just days after he gave us a speech here about reducing spending and everything, we saw the cabinet ministers and the PSS flying helicopters all over the country, using over 300,000 to just go and plant a seedling that is what, 10,000. So I said, where have we really gone wrong to God? Maybe God is punishing us because we have done things, carried the Bibles all over and said God is God, but I think the things that we do, if you do not seal the gaps of corruption in this nation, Kenya, but you insist on adding or increasing the taxpayers, then the same money that you say you have achieved is still going to these tunnels of corruption. So there's a lot of confusion. The President told us there will be no El Nino. The weather forecast people said there will be El Nino. Some of us who are farmers were forced to harvest prematurely, fearing the destruction that would be caused by El Nino. After a while, the President said no. These people at the forecast department lied to all of us. And then just recently, again, I hear the Deputy President say now whatever we are receiving is El Nino. So we do not know who is the spokesman from the State House to try and say some things and not leave the President himself to keep looking like a cartoon when he says some of these things. So a lot at the moment is lip service. We want real service, and all of us as leaders, let us tell the President the truth and not keep bombarding the State House with a lot of lies. I saw even when he was taking a breath, taking water, people were clapping, and I was wondering, are they clapping because he is thirsty? We should not exaggerate, because real Kenyans, the hustlers, the people we said we will protect, are committing suicide. They are not seeing anything. Anything we say from today as leaders, we must be accountable, because Wanjiku will look at us and there is nothing we will do in future to try and convince them. The hope is gone. Kenyans are not happy, and that is the truth. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The next chance will go to Honorable Nelson Koech. Unlike other members, as directed by the Speaker, you are entitled to 10 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Honorable KK seems to have an issue with the time, but I will try to be very brief to allow other members also to make that contribution. Honorable Speaker, thank you for allowing me to give my remarks on the State of the Nation address by His Excellency the President. For those who care to listen, the President's speech was reassuring amid the grim and amid a lot of anxiety in the country. The President sought to reassure the country that we are on the right track. When His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto and his government took over leadership, this country was literally in the brink of an economic collapse. This country was heading to the dogs because of fiscal indiscipline that is manifested even as we are talking. Yesterday, I'm sure many of you have seen online the pictures that are going around on WhatsApp groups and on different fora of the state of our airports and the leaking roofs of our airport. These are some of the things that were done in the dying days of the previous administration that really paints a picture of exactly how resources, like the president did put, we were living large on borrowed money. We literally did not have any discipline. The president will have had the luxury to come in and sit pretty and also continue borrowing until this country collapsed, or he decided to take that bold step of restoring fiscal discipline and avoiding an unnecessary wastage. Number one is funding of, first of all, funding of production rather than subsidizing consumption. Many have said here, and I'm sure even in our farms, for instance, even in my own farm, you can see the production today in terms of maize. And like he did say in the State of the Nation address, we've had a bumper harvest this year. We are going to have production of almost 80 million bags that is going to feed the country. When you lower food inflation in any economy, you are in the right trajectory. You're actually trying to stabilize, and that is exactly where we are as a country, lowering the cost. I'm sure even in shelves now, when we came in, there was a lot of noise about lowering the cost of flour or unga. And right now, as we are talking, the president did put that prices of unga are retailing between 140, lows of 140 and highs of 175. That tells you that the cost the fertilizer subsidy has worked, and the cost of food is going to drop down going forward. The president also went further, and I want to just quickly refer back to the Finance Act, which he also enumerated, importation of fish from outside the country. He mentioned that in Kisumu, Homa Bay, and many other areas along the Lake Victoria, there is big construction of landing sites to enable the fisher folk to continue to harness the potential of the fish farmers and make sure that the fish within the lake region is sold in the market for good value, and farmers there can earn something from the lake. That, I think, is a brilliant move that we also, members of parliament, did participate in making sure that we are able to restore the market and deny the fish that came from outside the country the space in Kenya, or rather the market within the country. On independence of independent institutions, the president did indicate, like has been mentioned by many of my colleagues, that the first thing that he did that evening after being sworn in was to give autonomy, first of all, to appoint the judges of the Court of Appeal, and number two, to give autonomy to the police by allowing the counting officer to be the IG. That brings accountability and it gives freedom to our independent institutions. On the sugar sector, the president did mention that in the sugar sector, he has written off billions and billions of loans that were owed to different sugar milling companies to allow all those in the sugar growing areas an opportunity again to start afresh and to bring sugar industry back on the fold and to allow as many farmers as possible to utilize the potential in the sugar sector.
Order, Honorable Koech. Just for the benefit of members, just take your seat for a minute. I know members were asking why the member or the chair for defense was given 10 minutes, and this was a resolution by the House, and it was made that the chairperson on the Committee of Justice and Legal Affairs should speak to the report submitted under Article 132(1) of the Constitution realization of national values, the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense